While the village of Ruidoso tries to recover from recent deadly flash floods, while also preparing for upcoming storms this weekend, we catch up with the Journal's Southern New Mexico correspondent Algernon Damasa, who was in Ruidoso and spoke to several of the locals there. A second prominent attorney has pleaded guilty to a federal extortion charge in paying off an Albuquerque police officer in 2023 to help get his client's drunken driving case dismissed. 17-year-old McKimmy Sage Anderson, who was pregnant, died by suicide on May 16th while in the care of New Mexico's Children's Youth and Families Department, or CYFD. And for the first time, Paul McCartney will be performing in the Albuquerque area. From the Albuquerque Journal, this is the leading news. I'm Gino Gutierrez. It's Friday, July 11th, and I'll have more on those stories in a few moments, plus a look at Albuquerque's weather forecast on the other side of this break.
This episode is brought to you by the Kirtland Partnership Committee. For 30 years, we've been dedicated to supporting, growing, and preserving the Kirtland National Security Complex. We work tirelessly to enhance military readiness, foster community partnerships, improve quality of life, and promote economic development right here in New Mexico. Join us in our mission to ensure that Kirtland remains a cornerstone of national security and a key provider of quality jobs and investment for all of Greater Albuquerque. Together, we can make a powerful impact. Kirtland Partnership Committee, proudly shaping the future of our national security for 30 years.
After deadly flash floods left 3 dead in Ruidoso, the village is now preparing for more rain that is set to come this weekend. With more on how the village is recovering and also preparing for what lies ahead, we now turn to the Journal's Southern New Mexico correspondent Algernon Damasa, who was on the ground in Ruidoso. Algernon, thank you so much for joining me.
Hello, Gino.
Algernon, we've seen some really devastating images coming out of Ruidoso after these deadly flash floods took place, but you were there on the ground and got to see it with your own 2 eyes. What can you tell us about what you saw?
Well, right now they're in the stage of cleaning up and trying to assist people who have lost their homes temporarily or permanently. As many as 400, between 200 and 400 homes have been damaged or entirely lost. And so there are people who need shelter. There are people who just need water and food while they figure out what they're doing next. At the same time that they're doing this and trying to get electricity back on, water service restored, sanitation, all of these vital services, there's more rain coming in. It's supposed to arrive on Saturday and linger for several days. If the rain sticks around over the burn scar, if they get a lot of water rapidly, they're going to have issues once again. And so they're bracing for that as well.
And Algernon, one of the more striking parts of the reporting that you did while you were down in Ruidoso was how quickly this situation developed. You talked to several locals, even the Mayor Lynn Crawford, saying that it developed really, really quick, and the river down there swelling to record numbers. So not a lot of time for people to prepare for what happened.
Yes, I spoke to people who grew up in Ruidoso, and they know that wildfires and subsequent floods are kind of part of living here, but they've become much more frequent, much more intense. This is, of course, flooding through the burn scar created last year by the South Fork fire. And there were bad floods last year, but this year the water accumulated much more quickly. The river rose over 20 feet, which is a new record. And the thing is that once the water accumulates, the flood conditions escalate much more rapidly than people are used to. And that seems to have been the case here, where people had the right precautions in place, but still got hit pretty hard by this wall of water that came, to say nothing of people who were here for vacation. And it is vacation time in Ruidoso, and it's been a strange couple of days where in one part of the village, you still have tourists and people who are here enjoying RVs or staying at the hotels and enjoying what's going on in the community, the lands of Lincoln County. But at the same time, you also have people digging out from some real devastation.
And Algernon, as you mentioned earlier, there's still continual search and rescue efforts going on, attempts to reconnect electricity, fix gas leaks. But as far as the rains that are coming ahead this weekend for Ruidoso, how exactly is the village preparing while they're still trying to recover from what happened?
Well, search and rescue teams were still finishing up today. They had moved out from village limits into the county just to make sure that there weren't any other people in need of rescue. And now they're able to, those that are staying are able to position themselves to respond to what might happen if the rain falls in the right spot fast enough this weekend to trigger flooding all over again. People are moving sandbags and other barriers to try to hold back the waters, and really just hoping and praying for the best.
Ruidoso certainly on the minds of a lot of New Mexicans, and will be especially more so ahead of these weekend's rains. Algernon, thank you so much for joining me and sharing the latest with us.
Anytime, Gina.
In other headlines from the newsroom, Rudolph Rudy Chavez, a longtime Albuquerque attorney and prominent Lobo Sports supporter, pleaded guilty to federal extortion and lying to FBI agents. He admitted to paying an Albuquerque police officer in 2023 to skip court, leading to a DWI case dismissal for his client. Chavez also falsely denied knowing about the plan during a 2024 FBI interview. His case is part of a wider bribery and extortion scheme involving disbarred attorney Thomas Clear III, a former legal assistant, and 8 ex-law enforcement officers. The scandal has led to the dismissal of potentially hundreds of DWI cases, and Chavez's law license was suspended indefinitely in April. Sentencing is still pending. 17-year-old McKimmy Sage Anderson, who was pregnant, died by suicide on May 16th while in the care of New Mexico's Children's Youth and Families Department, or CYFD. Her death, the second teen suicide in state custody in just over a month, highlights the growing concerns about CYFD's failure to protect vulnerable youth. McKimmy had been moved far from her home in Hobbs and often housed in office buildings due to lack of foster placements. She also struggled with mental health issues. A 2020 court settlement required CYFD to stop placing children in group settings and improve mental health care, but independent monitors say the agency continues to fall short. Critics, including lawmakers and advocates, described a broken system where teens are left unstable, unsupported, and at risk. The New Mexico Department of Justice is now investigating her death as part of a wider probe into CYFD's practices. And for the first time, Paul McCartney will perform in New Mexico, bringing his Got Back tour to Albuquerque's Isleta Amphitheater on October 7th. The show will be the third stop on a 19-date U.S. and Canada tour, which also includes his first ever performance in Palm Springs, California. At 83, McCartney remains a musical legend, with 19 Grammys, an Oscar, and 32 Billboard Hot 100 hits, spanning his Beatles, Wings, and solo work. His concert will feature songs from his entire career. Ticket pre-sales will begin on the 15th of July, and general sales openings will happen on the 18th via Ticketmaster and Live Nation. Fans are warned to avoid inflated and potentially insecure tickets on secondary resale sites, where prices are already set as high as $10,000. The leading news is powered by the journalism of the Albuquerque Journal. If you enjoy hearing all of the stories we share with you here daily, please consider becoming a digital subscriber to the Journal by utilizing the discount code in our show notes. Every subscription helps support local journalism and allows us to bring you the news that matters to you. Now taking a look at Albuquerque's weather forecast. Today you can expect sunny and hot conditions with a high near 101 degrees, and as for this evening, mostly clear with a low around 68. To keep up with all the latest news from the Albuquerque Journal, you can visit our website at abqjournal.com. That's the leading news. I'm Gino Gutierrez. We'll be back on Monday.